Hi, everybody. Sky Kershner here. I'm here with Brendon Ross, who's in Michigan. Brendon is a school psychologist who's worked in big systems in Nevada, but now is in Michigan, and a member of the Mint and a good friend, a good community member. He's been with our community for many years. And so I got an email this morning from Brendon, uh, basically saying, "Hey, you got a 5 out of 5. I got a 5 out of 5 too." And I said, "Oh, fantastic! Let's see how you did it, so we can just and if anyone else got a 5 out of 5, send me an email. We'll look at how you did it because many roads lead to Rome. You can have a great MI conversation a variety of different ways. Let's see how Brendon did it. Brendon, over to you, and you're going to share your screen, I think, and show us how you did it.
Sounds good. Yeah, thank you, Sky, and happy and humbled to be here. And let's unpack it together and see where we get to. Yeah. All righty. Let's go. Okay. Yeah. So, and feel free, Sky. Let's, if we can, maybe we can just have this be a co-created experience here where we can collaborate together and talk about kind of how this went and how I got to where I got to, and I'll try my best to be as explicit as I can here.
Let's start with the reflection ratio. Now,
Yeah.
I stopped at 8 and you kept going, which is an
Yeah.
option on the daily drill.
Yeah.
Sometimes people say, I'm not supposed to ask a question, right?
Mhm.
And no, actually, questions are fine. This is
Mhm.
just something that I do. And I was wondering, were you intentionally trying to limit yourself to reflections? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think intention, I go into these practices specifically with the AI, even in MI conversations, with a loose intention, right? I don't want to hold myself to something strictly because the moment might change things. But for this practice specifically, I did want to just focus in on the reflections themselves. And I wanted to, as best I could, stay with this person, the AI person here, and just see where it went and challenge myself or invite myself to reflect only.
Great. And you did Abe, which is this
Mhm.
ABE, which is the same guy I did.
Mhm.
If you're watching this later on, Abe is on the Daily Drill page. You can find it if you want to uh, challenge yourself with the one that Brendon and I did. Yeah, so walk us through it. So age resistance went to 5 out of 10. Something I noticed was change talk started appearing very quickly in your dialogue, although and at turn 12, it was mobilizing change talk. Would that be cat? Well, scroll down and I guess we could see where the darn, so no, go back up. Sorry. So for to the darn cat section, up a little bit more. There
Yep.
it is. So here is you know, change talk for those of you who might not be aware of it. Walk us through it, Brendon, and then we'll look at the actual dialogue.
Yeah. So um, we have our desirability, reasons, and needs, so our darn cat. And then we have that shifted, we notice here into the commitment language there. So Abe, we'll go to the responses specifically, and I'll be curious myself as I go back to it to see what I said there and what the response in that exchange was to see what evoked that commitment there. As you can see, though, there was definitely preparatory change talk that was happening, and it was just as Sky, you've said before, there was whispers of it and it did. I was a bit surprised that it came in as quick as it did in the beginning. And then there were whispers. It came in a bit strong and then it kind of whispered throughout and then it built from there again. And so I was just noticing that the flow of it with Abe as we went along here.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, that's
And at some point, I'm guessing you got start to get confetti and uh, fireworks.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting, right? Like as I play with this, there are moments where I'm like, I won't measure myself because then I can start worrying, like, is the confetti coming? Is it even going to be here? And then I'm like, oh, now I'm not even present anymore because I'm just waiting for this confetti to drop. This time, surprisingly, I didn't, well, A, I didn't worry about it. B, it was coming a lot. So it came in the beginning almost right away with Abe, and then it came multiple times to let me know, I think, that change talk, not just that the resistance was down and he felt safe, but that change talk was drumming, right? It was just coming and
Yeah,
coming and coming.
yeah.
And then it would tell me what type of change talk. If it was general change talk or if it was preparatory or in this case down at the bottom, that the stepping up the commitment piece there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take a look at the
Um,
dialogue and see.
sure.
People have been emailing me
Yeah.
how surprised they were when the confetti came because,
Yeah.
it's a brand new feature. Nobody was expecting it. Uh,
Yeah.
it's a little
Yeah.
Easter egg in the program.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it felt kind of video gamey a little bit. I was like, ooh, I'm on a different level. Oh, cool. Okay. That's neat. Yeah. Um, so yeah, so a lot of the times, which I really enjoy a feature of this too, and I like the options at the top. I clicked the options, which one of them being what is the what is Abe's body language? I think that's something that I like to have on there when I do this because I do want to see just similarly if I was in an experience with someone, what are their nonverbals? Can I sense some of their internal experience too from the way that they're showing me things
Hmm,
outwardly? And can I be with that and can I sense a little bit about what's happening underneath based on how they are?
hmm.
And so as I can see, he takes a small breath and he says, yeah, I can't keep feeling this way. And so what I went with at that point was that this felt to me like that with the sigh, this breath in, he's bracing himself for something new.
Hmm,
And so what I picked up there was that there was a tipping point. There was almost like he's right on the edge of something
hmm.
and he's not jumping, but
Hmm.
he's feeling that edge. And so that's what had me drawn to this language there to take a bit of a risk and to say, yeah, something has you feeling like you're at a tipping point
Yeah. And
right off the bat.
this is a great metaphor. We could call this a complex reflection or a metaphoric reflection. It's capturing something. And I was noticing, Brendon, this it moves it towards the idea that something's got to give, something's got to change.
Yep.
I think mine was just pure empathy. You're feeling like something's not working,
Mhm.
which is more talking about the sustain. You're kind of pointing to the idea something's got to give. You're at a tipping point. And I think that's why the change talk started. Scroll down a little bit. I think the change talk starts coming right away. Yeah. Go a little bit more. There's the green glyph there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting, right? And I know it's this is the thing that's so nice about A, this conversation we're having now and B, this practice because there are so many different ways to get there. And so what I wanted to do in that moment, and I just had this read was like, can I meet them with both? Can I meet with them with the empathy and something accurate and something feels like meeting the moment here, there's a bit of change already underneath. And
Yeah.
sometimes if I were to try that in a different situation, they would have like been like, whoa, 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 this is no, 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 no. And they're
Who
gonna, and
said
then
anything about changing? Yeah.
right, and then this would have been red, right here, and we would have been at like a 6 or a 7. Um, but in this case, it landed for him, and
And
he's yeah,
and just to compare for folks that might think, oh, there's only one way to do it. I didn't evoke need or urgency till interaction 8. Brendon's got it coming here at interaction 1. So it's a perfect example. I didn't evoke any change talk till about the third interaction. And Here we've got resistance going down a little bit and change talk already coming around the timing, the tipping point, the need or urgency. Yeah. And he's following, he picks up on the metaphor. This is what blew me away when I first started playing with the AI, that it understands metaphors.
Yeah.
He says, I know I'm at the edge of something, right? He's continuing with this tipping point, the edge. Yeah. Keep going, Brendon.
Yeah. And two things. One, the edge of something, I think, was the piece that I almost wanted to continue that was not said yet, but I took a little bit of a risk to go out on as we talk about the tree, right? Let's go a little bit further on the branch.
About the
And again,
limb. Yeah.
right, the limb. And I went a bit further and it landed this time. Um, and I noticed something else, Sky, which again, the nonverbals here, and I think you mentioned it in your video, which is the jaw tightening. And that can mean different things here, but maybe it's also the ambivalence is the tension is coming through pretty quickly here. I wonder if there's kind of a reckoning with something already
Yeah.
that is already speaking.
I was reading that as an internal psychic crisis,
Hmm.
which is a good thing, right?
Hmm.
It's the discrepancy is
Hmm.
catching up to him. It didn't feel to me like this is,
Mm-mm.
he's gurring
Mm-mm.
like there's
No.
discord coming because we
Mm-mm.
can see the resistance is coming down. I
Yeah.
think he's steeling himself against
Yeah.
the realization of what he's doing to people he loves, including
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took it as almost like maybe reaching in and mining for a pearl, right? Touching something inside of himself in that moment. And then that was expressed in the jaw. I don't know.
Yeah. And he's
Yeah.
giving you the kids and his wife way early on as well. So
Yeah.
you're getting so much to work on here, and
Yeah.
you decided to go with them. Tell us about that.
Yeah, what I picked up on first was there was some form of there's the drinking and then there's this almost crisis of identity, right? There that I picked up on that almost like is he who he wants to be? Is he the father? Is he the husband that he really wants to live into? And
Mm,
is there some difference there inside of him that he's wrestling with?
mm,
And then a bit of what I felt was there was a bit of energy behind it when I saw the need and urgency. And so I think that came through with that word pressing, that this just feels a bit elevated than it has before. This isn't something that's new that you've fully just come to right now, and yet this somehow feels a bit different for you talking about it out loud.
mm, mm, mm.
And
It's
and
not,
then
but the urgency is new,
yeah,
or the
yep, yep,
meaning of it for you is new. Yeah.
yeah, 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 just a different twist on it a little bit for him. Um, and then and then he says, yeah, he says he responds, and um, I there was a moment, so there's a couple things here that I could have gone with. I noticed, I think in yours you went with there was more about the wife's relationship that came out. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I know in this one I just looked at the kids and I thought, I think based on what he said here, the way my kids look at me when I lose it or don't show up really, really came and stood out for me there. Um,
Yeah.
and and that and so then I think what I did was say,
Can I,
yeah, and it's
can I
pain.
comment on that for a
Oh,
second?
please, yeah, let's slow
So
down.
I
Yeah.
was kind of operating robotically, and then not completely. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
feeling as I'm in the conversation with Gabe, but my only goal initially was reducing resistance.
Yeah.
So I was siding with his sustained talk as a way to give empathy, because we can see here in yours, resistance is going down 1 point, 1 point, 1 point.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
mine, it was going down 2 points,
Quicker.
and then three
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
We got to one, and then I started wondering about change talk. You're doing something much more organic here. It's resistance is going down step by step in smaller increments, but change talk is coming up, and you're doing both here. And so just a lovely comparison. Here's another way to do it. I was trying to model, let's clear the resistance out first before we do anything. And I think I'm doing that partially because a number of folks are getting like 2.5s, 2.8s. And I have a feeling it's because they're question dominated and they're simple reflections dominated. So they're not getting to the juice of what you're getting to here. So uh, part of my impetus in these videos is to help folks who, and they've been pretty consistent. Somebody might be at 2.8, they're doing it every day, it's not going up. So, two things. Uh, keep coming, keep learning. You might try using Alex. Did you use Alex at all? Uh,
I have,
the coach, but not on
I
this.
ha not on this one.
You
I have
didn't.
before. I
Yeah.
have before.
So if you're someone who's getting 2.8s and talking to those folks, maybe ask Alex, what would you do here?
Mhm.
How could I turn that into a complex reflection? Or how could I, if you notice resistance kind of staying at 4, what else could you do to get resistance down to 1? Uh, Great. Okay. So yeah, keep going, Brendon. Or if you've got more to say on that, I'd love to hear it.
Um, yeah, I mean, again, I think it just speaks to he offered quite a bit here. So I think
Mhm.
there's sometimes, and as I was learning, there's these moments where I go, as either whether it would be, I didn't have this when I was learning, am I back in in the day, but someone might, and I've run into this, in many just live conversations, someone just kind of gives a lot all at once, and then I almost get analysis paralysis of what do I do here? What do I focus on? This is
Uh-huh.
so much. What if I take the wrong road? What if and then having all of those, and then I almost freeze. And so as a learner, maybe even in that 2.5, I might be overwhelmed by what's here. And so
Yeah.
and then I'm going, well, there's so much, what do I focus in on? Um and so I think for me, as I learn and grow and do this, I try to, it's as hard, but I try to, with this person, I try to imagine they're right in front of me. Which there was a moment even, I think, in one of the dialogues where I even cried with the AI because I was in touch with which felt kind of different, but
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
in tune with whatever that experience would have been had I been right in front of you,
Yeah.
as that person or Abe or whoever. Um, and
And
so I guess, yeah, no,
and
yeah,
this might be one of those moments where the book isn't going to help you, and maybe just accessing your heart might be a good guide that you could trust. You and I are both dads. We
yeah,
have two
yeah,
kids. You
yeah,
do, and I do, and we've visited, some live sometimes, and so that might be part of this. The idea of fathers and what it is to be a good father. My father was an alcoholic, so in my dialogue, I kind of point to that. Yeah, you don't want to be a father like your dad, which is me speaking personally, through my heart, guessing at maybe what Abe might be experiencing. I might be wrong and he can tell me, but I like what you're saying here. You you might be trying to think there's a right answer here, which might put you so far up in your head that you forget you're a living human being. What does your heart say you want to pick out here? Uh, we have an AI practice called the chatty client, where the
yeah,
client gives like 2 paragraphs, and your job is to pick out one thing out of those 2 paragraphs. You almost can't lose. If you pick out one thing, it's probably going to be good enough. Uh, but if you tried to do a summary here, you would lose probably some of the edge. If you tried to bullet point everything he's saying, you might lose the edge of the change talk.
yeah, yep,
Because I see that's another thing beginners sometimes do. They think, oh, I've got to repeat back everything he said instead of what you're saying, which is, wow, there's a lot here. Let me pick out kind of intuitively what feels right for me.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And there's I think I've shared this in some of the rooms, which is like that fidelity to the moment and the method. And so the fidelity to the moment piece is in that moment, in this moment when there's this much, here, this richness, there's this heart set of can I trust the moment and just take a step into it and see. And
Yeah,
I think that's where if it goes up and the resistance comes back, well then I'll respond to that moment if it comes
yeah,
and
yeah,
move through. And I guess the other piece to this real quick is that there was something visceral to me that spoke out when he said, "My kids look at me when I lose it or don't show up." There was something palpable there
yeah,
that spoke out a little bit above some of the other things he said to me as I was experiencing it. Again, I am a dad and I have kids, and
yeah.
so that part might have that layers there too.
And I'm looking at the way you deepened it by saying, looking at your kids' faces. So he doesn't say something about his kids' faces. He says, the way my kids look at me, and you're making it even more concrete, right? When you look into your kids' faces after losing it, you see something in their faces that you don't like.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right. So, uh, this is going from maybe 5,000 feet right down to 5 feet. You're inviting him to feel the pain that he feels when he looks at his kids' faces, and feeling the pain of the status quo is an important part of the experience of change talk. It's not just intellectual, it's an emotional, you're inviting him into an emotional response. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Yeah. And now just looking at my response too, I think what I did there too, and again, I could have just left it with the kids, right? I didn't have to even mention the wife that
Yeah.
was there. I think there was a part of me that was said, you know, now I'm backtracking a bit, but like that maybe there was an autonomy there to here's two things you said, but let me deepen it because I'm feeling that there's more here.
Mm,
And then you have the autonomy to pick up whatever it is next that we go to here. Because maybe it is your wife, maybe it is your kids, but both are there. I
yeah.
have a feeling I got a sense that the kids were real palpable for you in that moment.
Yeah. We see that in the Rounder video with Terry Moyers when he brings up the fact that his daughter won't let him see his granddaughter because he's got this DUI, and he sighs. And it's very emotional for him at that moment. It's not an intellectual reason. There's an emotion, there's a loss there. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so then he responds. Yeah, he acknowledges that, and um, he he says, knowing this part stood out to me, knowing I put that look on their faces. Yeah, like this ownership. He's owning this. It's there, and he's really sitting with it. Like I put it there.
Yeah.
Um,
We would call this healthy guilt. He's
mhm,
taking responsibility.
mhm,
Unhealthy guilt would be, yeah, I'm really a horrible person, but I'm not going to change. Healthy guilt would be, I hate seeing that face on their kids. I've got to do everything I can to repair with them and to not have that happen again.
yeah,
Change talk is coming up, resistance is going down.
yeah, yeah. This inverse is happening, and um, it's like his prefrontal cortex is coming online as the change talk's emerging, and so almost like both might be working together a little bit in this situation versus going like this.
It's funny you say that. Sarah Nico from Alaska, the Mint member, did you see her thing last week?
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, I have that slide that says, "Oh, we want the prefrontal cortex to come online." I don't include anything with the
The
heart,
body. Yep.
right? It's
Yeah.
completely missing from that slide. We want the
Mhm.
prefrontal cortex and the heart to come
And
on.
the body.
Yeah.
And the body. Yep. And the body. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And so there was something here, I think, that I caught, um, which is like there's this immediate relief he looks for to just deal with this like physical pain of the back.
Mhm.
And yet he's like paying the price every day in almost a deeper way. And so I just took a little bit of a leap there and just said, you drink to take away pain only to feel more pain.
Right. That
There,
in my dialogue, that dilemma was about half of the dialogue.
mhm,
Right. I'm trying to take it away, but it's creating more. I'm trying to take
mhm,
it away
mhm,
and it's not working.
right.
So, so for those who are kind of tracking, of course, there's some places when our Brendon's dialogue and my dialogue kind of overlap because we're dealing with the same person with the same kind of pain. But you can see how here it's coming in on the fifth or sixth interaction, whereas mine it came in first or second or third. It doesn't matter. The client is still feeling and resistance is still going down, right? Yeah. You had the same thing happening. I kept wondering, this guy's jaw is getting tighter and tighter.
Hmm. Hmm.
I
Yeah. I was like, yeah, at what point is it just,
need to teach the AI there are other
yeah.
things you can do when you're upset.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he keeps looking down at his hands too. It's the same. It's like jaws tightening, hand looking down at hands. Um, yeah, so that seemed to land for him. I think in both
Mhm.
yours and this conversation. And then
It's,
there's the yeah,
it's
go
a
ahead. Yeah.
kind of double-sided reflection.
Yeah. Yeah.
This and also this.
Yeah. 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 The I think that's the part you've mentioned this before, Sky, and I tend to not that I have an agenda, I don't go in with that, but I do get curious about with the ambivalence, right? Like what is the internal tension? What is the thing that's there that is something they touch back on over like, what is the thing they're hitting on? And then they might come away from it because it's really hard to touch inside. Because
Mm,
then sometimes I'll notice then they'll want to come back and change the subject. Not in this case, but there have been moments with both the AI and in real dialogue. There is there's the I'm touching this thing, but it's I'm just putting my toe in because it's still really big for me and I'm not quite sure either what it is or it's too much for me. And so I'm going to come out and then I'm going to go back in. And so it's I just trying to gently um, see, be curious about what the tension is and what's there without,
yeah.
shoving them there.
How can we help people who are watching this see this? Where in the data of what he's saying, or is it in that body language? What makes you think, oh, there's something here that's very painful. He's trying to avoid it. At the same time, part of him wants to deal with it. Can you say more about what?
Yeah. I mean what I pick up here in this statement from Abe is that well, there's a pain in feeling trapped in the cycle that
Um,
he wants to get out of so desperately because he's almost watching himself slip away from his family
mm,
and not able to almost get back, almost like looking at a window at your family in the rain and you can't get in.
mm,
And that's what I picked up. And then with that, the shame of I did this. And there's that pain that's there. And then watching almost this part around I missed something with the kids, like lost time. Like he's chasing time with them. And each moment he loses it or he's drinking, it's lost each time. And he's trying to catch up. And it's painful. And
Mm,
so there's both there. Like he's trapped with like, I want this pain to go away physically because it hurts so dang much.
mm,
And every time I'm chasing time with my kids, I'm losing them. I'm losing my family every time. And so that's what I picked up from those two things. Is that clear though? I don't know if I made that.
I feel tears coming to my eyes just though, it would be so easy to think, oh, this AI is just, throwing stuff out, but you're really stepping into his socks, not just his shoes. You're really, really trying to feel what does this dilemma feel like for him? And what a beautiful image. The family through the window, he's out in the rain and he's trying to get in, but he, he's not sure how. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome.
And I think if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, I think this is the first time now the resistance has dropped to the one. And I
Right.
think I got some confetti here too with or double or whatever with the change
Yeah. Yeah.
and the thing. And
Ooh, a confetti and a
yeah.
starburst.
I
Okay, I
I,
haven't
I
gotten
think
those yet. Yeah.
I think it might have been both. I don't remember, but I think it might have been. I was like, ooh, ah. Um, yeah. And so yeah, the part I picked up with was there's like this quick relief, right? Like this immediate relief. And then and you were picked up on this too, this pain that comes with shame
Mm.
and and these lost moments. I think that's the thing that I
Mm.
landed on that ended these lost moments with your kids.
Mm.
And and that's when I know we noticed that his eyes drop and his voice gets quieter, like
Uh,
he's going in even more.
and you see with these three dots, he's he's a little bit at a loss for words here, right? He's putting a sentence together out of some deep place inside him. The words aren't flowing quickly. I'm imagining.
Yeah, it's like he's stumbling into it or out of it. And the part that stood out to me is like that. Yeah, that's the thing I can't unsee now that you said it out loud.
Right.
Um, almost like um, we were saying it together, but said it.
It's it's such a great example of how saying holding the mirror up to the client,
Yeah,
they see something in the mirror that they don't want to see, but they can't deny is there,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah. And almost a great example of the definition of a complex reflection. It's something that's true that the client hasn't said, and you're putting words to it. And when the client hears that, it can be a profound experience for them. Real lovely interpsychic crisis going on inside them.
yeah. It's hard to, I mean, now that you mention that, like I think it's hard because there are moments where I've fallen into the interpretive Brendon, right? Where I'm like, oh, and then I go to, and then AI is really quick to pick it up too. So I'm almost inserting something rather than drawing out. So I know there is a distinction there.
Mm.
I don't know how to quite put words to it, but there is what I sensed with this one, and this is my own, maybe my own blind spot, but I what I sensed in this conversation was that in this moment and throughout. I was really careful not to put something in that wasn't there, but
Ah,
try to sense what was there that just wasn't said.
ah,
And there's a difference, I think, between those two things. And I know when I've done the opposite, when I'm like, ooh, I know Steve Rolnick talks about this, right? That, don't try to be clever. And there's moments where I edge into the cleverness.
yeah.
And this wasn't one of those moments.
It takes real restraint because because if you see something,
Mhm.
it's so tempting to want to put words to it, and the
Yeah.
ego loves, oh, look how clever I am. But
Mhm.
uh, I had the same experience when I was doing. Can I just reflect? Can I just stay? One of my teachers says contingent with the last thing that was said. So I'm just playing off of what he's giving me. I'm trying not to add anything else, even though I think it might be true. I'm just trying to stay contingent with him. And
Mhm.
Brendon, there was a sentence in there. It's going to be the title of this thing, but that was such a keeper. I didn't write it down, but I'll get it. I'll get it later. Yeah, keep going.
All right. Yeah, and so this was the first moment I just had this noticing inside me as I listened to him or listened or saw read um bringing this tipping point back as I noticed that this is what was at the heart of what he didn't say in the beginning that I reached for that felt was there, but he didn't say it yet. And now it's back. And I almost there was an intuition or something to say, hey, I think it's still here. And is this the thing that we're needing to, that's being called back here? Not necessarily that I need to put back, again, not interpretive or being clever here, but that it's coming back
Mhm,
around here. And
mhm.
so I took a risk again and said, yeah, and this is what you has you at this tipping point of real consideration. This is what has you really sitting at the edge going, well, what what's got to give here? What is it?
It, it's possibly on the road towards commitment talk,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
You've been evoking tons of reasons from the very beginning.
mhm,
You've got need and urgency, not sure about ability, uh, but and here's need and urgency coming back, and need and urgency probably is a stepping stone towards, yeah, what am I going to do?
mhm,
What do I need to do differently so that this horrible status quo pain doesn't keep going?
mhm.
Yeah, it's a very really lovely moment to bring that in very subtly. Uh, right, and so he said, I don't know if I'm ready. So go up one more line.
Yeah, yep.
Right, so he feels right that would be a natural next step, ready to do something.
Mhm,
And so he feels it. I don't know if I'm ready to do anything about it yet. And
mhm.
we notice resistance is not going up. He's not resisting Brendon. He's he's just kind of hanging out with him at this crossroads. Sort of, I could, but I don't know if I'm ready to.
Yeah. And
So
I think
he puts onto you, Brendon. He says, but you're right. Something's got to give.
yeah,
Right.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's interesting, right? And I know there are moments where, and this is going back to playing with something inside themselves. I think sometimes the protective piece for people is I'm going to put it back on you for a little bit because that's me coming up for air because this is too much. And I might not be able to hold it yet and say me because he's gone back and forth with that. Like I did this to my kids. I'm healthy guilt there. I'm going to own that. This isn't something he's quite ready to hold to the point where it's like, oh, yeah, I got to do something. I'm right. This is me. It's not there yet. So it's safer for him to just say you right now, which again, happy to be that person right now that can be there with that with him to hold it.
It subtly shifts the dilemma from inside him into between you.
Yep.
So you're
Hmm.
right.
Hmm.
I do have to change. And then he gets to say, but I'm not ready to.
Mhm.
Except he says it, I'm not ready to, but you're right. I do need to change instead
Yeah,
of the conflict being fully firmly with it. We
yeah,
always want the conflict, the ambivalence to be within them. And I think that's very gracious of you, Brendon, to, okay, I'll hold it for a minute. If you need to put it on me, okay, I'm willing to do that.
yeah. And I think that's where this next reflection came through for me. It was a little lengthy, but what I was getting to was like, yeah, you're not ready to stop. And yet there's this part of you wondering how much more you can take watching your kids grow without feeling connected with those moments and being there for them.
Mm,
And so just gently, I guess, allowing it to go back um, and see what he did with it.
mm,
And I think this was his response. Yeah. So then he brings it brings him back to a moment with his son. So we're getting almost a bit more specific here. Not just I watch my kids' faces. Now it's an experience with his son, with one of his oldest. I don't know if it's his, I think it is. Yeah, it is his son. He didn't hear him, and because he was not there, he wasn't connected, and then he worries that his son's going to eventually stop asking him to connect.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. It's really interesting, Brendan. When I set these scenarios up, um, there's not a whole lot of details that I'm giving. And I'm noticing a consistency that the AI is offering a consistent personality, a consistent family story. Like I don't think I said, this is a guy with two sons. But when I did it, there were two sons. Here, while you're
Mhm.
doing it with two sons, it's quite amazing how how inventive, which is in this case is a good thing, but
Mhm.
also realistic. Uh, oh,
Yeah, I'm struck by that too each time. Because the more I see this AI, revise this, the more it brings so much nuance and depth
hmm.
to these scenarios and examples and richness. Yeah, yeah,
And you can picture it like it's in a movie. You can picture it
mhm,
like you're seeing it
yeah,
happen.
yep,
And he asked it
absolutely.
twice.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Right.
yep, yep. So
Hmm.
uh, I got feedback on this actually because this was felt, I guess, from the feedback from the AI in the report that this word preciousness seemed to, again, the word, it's a word, right? But for this person, this word really hung with them, with Abe, and something around how that word really, as he responds here, yeah, that word, preciousness. I haven't thought of it that way. And it's almost like he's discovering it. Um,
Yeah.
and I like the way he shifts it too. And I meant it in a way to for him, and not that I'm tailoring or curating anyway, but I was picking up on his desperation, not the son's, but he even clarified it too for himself, which was it's not desperate on his end, it's desperate on mine. I'm I'm desperate.
Mm.
And so he's even pushing it forward even more than I was. Um,
He
um,
feels the edges of this potential loss,
mhm.
and he, yeah, that word kind of brings up the Lord of the Rings, right? My
My
precious.
precious. Yeah.
I mean, which is, I mean, the moment when that thing you're holding on to that's hurting you. It's like, which is more precious, my drinking or my kid? You
Yeah.
know, and am I willing to drop this ring into the lava, and let it and say goodbye to it in order to hold on to a preciousness,
Yeah.
that's flesh and blood.
Mhm.
We had
Yeah.
something similar happen yesterday in the MI practice. It had to do with eating, and the helper used the word convenience, and it wasn't the right word, but it helped the speaker find the right word. And she said back, "It's not convenience, it's freedom."
Mhm.
And that had a similar weight. And when we were debriefing and we said, "Well, what stands out for you?" And she said, "That word freedom. I never thought about it as freedom." And
Mhm.
it looks like something's happening here with this word precious.
Yeah.
Uh, and again, this is almost like an intuitive thing. This word comes to your mind, and it just happens to resonate in the client.
And it's interesting you said that, Sky, because I think as a learner, even on here, I might worry that I'm going to get it wrong, and like in that example, the convenience piece. And yet it's the very fact that there was clarity. Contrast breeds clarity for people sometimes, meaning that if I get it wrong and there's a contrast, oh no, the clarity isn't that the convenience, it's the freedom. The clarity is the freedom, but it was the convenience, me sitting with that unlocked this for me. And now I even stand by this freedom thing even more. I'm owning that. And it elevated. Had I nailed it, well, then I'm saying it, not them.
Mm,
And then they came to this, no, it's freedom.
yeah.
And so yeah, I
That's brilliant. And that's exactly what happened. She knew what the word wasn't. She
uh,
knew that the convenience wasn't the right word,
yeah.
and it helped, the contrast helped her to find what the right word was. And I think the helper understood that what was happening was really wonderful, right?
Mhm.
They didn't said, "Oh, that was so bad of me. I had the wrong word."
Mhm.
No, they saw the unfolding of it,
Beautiful.
and that the client that was playing themselves was helped by that contrast. That's a
Mhm.
great word, the contrast. I, are we near the end of? I think there
Let's
was.
see. Yeah, we're getting close.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think there's been we've explored in this a lot of his reasoning, and then it does hit toward the commitment. I'm wondering if we want to scroll to
yeah.
that, Sky, or what would be
Keep
helpful.
going. I just am mindful of how long
Yeah.
I have to
Yep.
invest
I'm
in.
with you. Here we go. Here's the one of the commitment
Scroll up to what he says.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I just if you want to scroll back really quick here, this is what I said before.
Actually,
Um,
I see I have an appointment in 2 minutes.
ah,
So well, maybe to be continued.
sure.
Go ahead and finish that thought, and then
Yeah.
we'll do this again, Brendan. This was fun. Uh,
Yeah, I've enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, so yeah, just saying that, that I think I reflected, something around this loss again, and that you aren't willing to watch it happen, which is a bit of a shift, right? It's not just that you're just going to stand by and watch the window with your family in it. You're going to find a way in because that's how desperate it is for you.
it's
And so that's what,
contrasting passive and active,
mhm.
right?
Yeah,
You don't want to be passive about this. You want to be active.
yeah. So I picked up on that there, and then that's when that chain there of conversation went into this final part, which I said there's a sense of commitment to them, a deep love for them that says, "I won't give up,"
Hmm.
and that's what led to him saying some commitment change talk there.
Yeah, what is it he says?
See, I mean, that's the thing. I do love them, and I'm not some guy who doesn't care. It's just that right now the loving them and the actual showing up for it, those two things don't line up, and that's what eats at me.
Mhm.
So it's this piece that he's touching on around showing up. What's that going to be like? And I think that's where we would explore what that means for him.
It's the very edge of the beginning of commitment talk,
Yep. Yep.
right? He
Yep.
still has a lot of ambivalence, but
Hmm.
he's using words like showing up,
Hmm.
and he sees the discrepancy. Yeah. The actual showing up for them. Right. So that if that would be if you were to hold up those words, yeah, actually showing up for them is what you want to do. What would that
Yeah.
look like? Or
Yeah.
if that's not pushing it too hard.
Yeah. I think I dialed in a bit more there and just said loving him through action is where you want to be.
Mm,
And just to see what was there.
yeah. What did that
Yeah.
evoke in him? Yeah.
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 Good.
Brendon,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yep. Of course.
Yeah. What are you hoping people will take away from this?
I think I think the part that there's two things. One, that this is have fun with it. It's a place to play. And it's also a place that I think can we invite ourselves to be in this as if we were practicing with someone. And I think sometimes what helps is can I tune into this experience? Can I be in their socks? And can I try
Mm,
to meet them there each moment, right? And so for me, that's been helpful with these practices is getting into that space. And then if I'm out of it, noticing when I drift out and come back. Um, and and yeah, and still getting excited when the little green thing comes up and says, "Oh, change talk and resistance has gone down. This is fun, right?" It's great. Yeah,
I'm really appreciating if you could turn your screen off for a second,
yep,
so for the share screen, you the way you using your imagination to picture this person, you're suspending. What does Aristotle say? You're suspending your disbelief. You know it's a robot, but you're really feeling into it, and really lovely. Brendon Ross, school psychologist in Michigan, Mint member. Okay, if I put your email address in
yeah,
the video description in case anyone wants to reach out to you.
absolutely. Yep,
Okay,
sounds
fantastic.
good.
Thanks so
All
much.
right.
It's
Yep,
been
of course,
fun.
Guy.
Bye
Take
bye.
care.